My goodness, what have I done?
All right. So, anyways, good morning to everybody. Thank you again. I just said all that, but my microphone wasn't on. And I do voiceover. Good morning. This is Mik'd. Go to work with a voice actor. My name's Mike. Let's just get to work. I've got a bunch of work to do. And I'm here to show you how to do all of this beginning to end. So if you are an aspiring voice actor, if you're just curious, if you're bored and need something to watch, here we go. So I got my first script pulled up today. This is for a YouTube channel. This is a channel. I don't recall the team. This is another one of those mega structure channels, and we're going to be reading about Portland's $1.5 billion stadium that could create a new MLB team. So first things first, we're going to copy the name of the script. We're going to come over here real quick. Hi, I know I'm way over here. I usually switch to this view, but this will be quick. I'm just going to create a new recording. There's a character in there that Reaper didn't like. What was it? What is it? It's not a valid file name. Well, inside Portland's new stadium. You like that? All right. All right, so we now have the new project. We double click on the side here. That gives us a track. I like to pull the track all the way down so it fills the whole screen. And then we mute. We arm it for recording. We mute it because it'll just play back as we record, and there's always that little bit of a nastiness in there. Turn on ripple editing. Turn off the grid. I like to zoom out just a little bit so it looks pretty. And then I think we can just hit record. Oh, we didn't put my effects stream on there. I've got my own little effects chain that I've created. It starts with EQ. Then there's a de-esser. Then there's the noise gate. And then some compression. And then at the end when we render, it gets normalized. And it gets the brick wall treatment at the end. Well, let's get recording on this. We got a lot of work to do today. I'm going to check in every now and then. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of pretend like you're not here and just work. Okay, so we're going to hit record. We're going to bring this over here. Yep. Moving stuff around during stream. How unprofessional of me. It's like pulling behind the curtain or pulling back the curtain. That's what I want right there. Okay. Too much downtime, Mike. Get it together, bro. What if a city with no MLB team suddenly joined the league, all because of a $1.5 billion stadium? A place that's never hosted Major League Baseball stepping into the spotlight with one of the most futuristic ballparks ever imagined. Welcome to Future Builds, where we uncover the world's boldest mega projects and the hidden stories powering them. Today, we're stepping inside Portland's ambitious Diamond Project, A $1.5 billion dream that could transform the city from an MLB outsider into America's next baseball powerhouse. Too good to be true? Too good to be true? Too good to be true? Stick around because the answer might surprise you. And then we got the clap. I clap between any section that there's going to be a pause before the next section. It makes that spike in the waveform, that real whoop. And then when I'm doing it, when I'm cutting it, I'm not listening to it while I cut it, which you'll see here in a second when we get into the editing portion of it. Having struggle and talking today. My goodness. Let me just get back to it, eh? Portland is no stranger to sports passion. Oh my goodness. You just got to laugh. With the Trailblazers in the NBA and the Timbers in the MLS, fans already fill arenas with unstoppable energy. But baseball, that's the one piece missing. And private investors think they've found the solution. The Portland Diamond Project. The Portland Diamond Project isn't just an idea on paper. It's a privately backed mission to bring an MLB franchise to the city. Investors, city leaders, and fans have joined forces, making the case that Portland is more than ready for a team. The numbers speak volumes. Portland is the second largest American city in the Pacific Northwest. Yet the only MLB option nearby is the Seattle Mariners, hours away. With a metro population bigger than several existing MLB markets, Portland is an untapped territory. Don't you know? Even the Oregon State government's on board. In June 2025, lawmakers passed Senate Bill 110, authorizing up to $800 million in stadium bonds. And here's the kicker. The money doesn't come from public taxes. It's fueled by a jock tax. On visiting players and staff. That means no new tax burden for Oregonians? Is that how you say that? That means no new tax burden for Oregonians, but major potential gain in jobs, development, and civic pride. So, what would Portland's new stadium actually look like? The vision is stunning. A 33-acre site at Zedell Yards on the south waterfront, once a shipyard, now reimagined as a futuristic sports hub. The proposed stadium comes from Populous and TVA architects. TVA? The TVA? That's the Time Variance Authority. The same names behind some of the world's most iconic arenas and prunings. The design is a spectacle of modern engineering. A soaring combination of glass and locally sourced engineered timber, with sweeping walls that reflect Oregon's natural identity. A translucent retractable roof makes the stadium playable year-round, while its riverside placement brings in boats, water taxis, and skyline views of Portland. This isn't just a ballpark. It's a lifestyle center. It's a lifestyle center. Plans call for an entertainment district anchored by the stadium, surrounded by restaurants, hotels, housing, and retail. Think of it as a living, breathing extension of Portland's culture. Think of it as a living, breathing extension of Portland's culture. Sometimes when I get too animated, I can start to read. The pace can kind of start to slow down a little bit. So I got to remember that I'm doing a YouTube narration, and you got to keep these things moving. You can't let people get bored. Coffee sip. All right, let's go. Let's get some people in here. Good morning, everybody. Let's go. All right. Now, let's talk about what makes fans lean forward. The Portland Diamond Project. The Portland Diamond Project Stadium aims to redefine the fan experience. I need mute buttons. Mute buttons. What's it called? A stream deck? I need to get one of those. Where was I? Imagine walking into concourses twice as wide as traditional stadiums, touchless payments at every stand, and food stations spotlighting Portland's farm-to-table scene. A 360-degree design ensures fans never lose sight of the game. Premium seating? Without a doubt. Imagine club-level suites lined with smart glass walls. Imagine club-level suites lined with smart glass walls. Okay. Imagine club-level suites lined with smart glass walls, outfield terraces with AR replays projected in midair, social decks where drones deliver your food, and even a sky porch suspended over the river with floor panels that shift from opaque to transparent at a tap. You heard a lot of gaps in there, but that was some good delivery. So when I go in there and cut those little spots out, that's going to sound okay. I know it's weird listening to me up front, and you're like, what's this guy doing? But you'll see. We'll cut all that junk out, and it'll be... And the wild card? Gondola seating gliding along the roof beam. Yes, hovering gondolas inside a stadium. Hovering gondolas inside a stadium. If that doesn't feel like baseball in the future, what does? I like abrupt changes in tone. Not jarring ones. Well, kind of jarring ones. I was like that in my music career, too. We always liked to write music where it was going one way and then, bam, we hit you with something else kind of out of nowhere. And I like to do that when I narrate. Because, and I was thinking about this on the way from I took my son to school, and I was driving home thinking about the stream, and I was trying to think of any wisdom I can impart on anyone. And wisdom in this case is a very loose term. But I have been doing this full time for almost 2 years now, so I've learned some stuff. When you read, so first of all, you got to be able to sight read. So if you're not very good at sight reading, you really need to level up that skill, because that's an important thing that you need. But you can mitigate some of that if you're not super good at it by just pausing in between. You're going to have to fix it in the edit, but really understanding the sentence. So you can't just read in a constant rhythm. So here we go, this next section. I'm going to go ahead and clap now. Sorry, future Mike, that has to edit this. Because, yep, you're going to have to cut all this out. Anyways, so we're going to give the clap. So a lot of people, if you're like scared and you're called to read in class, you're going to be like, here's where the story gets even more fascinating. And you fall into the trap of just your eye is reading the word and sending that to your brain instead of actually, comprehending what you're reading. So you have to be able to break down that barrier so that you can sight read. I know that sounds trivial, but it's kind of not. And then when you talk, you have to be overly expressive, and you're going to find it kind of feel like a goofball when you do it. But that's what's going to make for something that's interesting to listen to. Like if I just come here and here's where the story gets even more fascinating. Portland's $1.5 billion diamond project doesn't actually have a team secured. Now, that doesn't sound terrible. I mean, kind of really does. But here's where you kind of have to throw off, put fancy words in there. I don't know. You got to just throw caution to the wind and just kind of perform. Here's where the story gets even more fascinating. Portland's $1.5 billion diamond project doesn't actually have a team secured. Can you believe it? That's not in there, but that's how I read it in my head. Instead, the vision is built on anticipation, waiting for Major League Baseball to either approve expansion or allow a struggling franchise to relocate. That uncertainty is what makes the project both risky and exciting. On one hand, it's a bold move. Investors and community leaders are putting together a world-class stadium design, complete with waterfront views and plans for an entire entertainment district, without the certainty of a team. On the other hand, the gamble could pay off big. MLB has long hinted at expanding to 32 teams, and Portland checks many of the boxes. A growing metro area, a passionate sports fan base, and regional rivalries that could energize ticket sales. The question still lingers. Grab the cord there. The question still lingers. Will MLB see Portland as its next baseball city? For now, the Diamond Project remains a dream. Waiting for its green light. But if approved, it could change Portland's sports identity forever. All right, let's keep going. When it comes to Major League Baseball's future, Portland keeps finding a way into the conversation. One intriguing possibility is the relocation of the Oakland A's. For years, the franchise has been weighed down by stadium troubles, dwindling attendance, and uncertainty about where it truly belongs. While Las Vegas has emerged as the front runner, Portland remains a city with the right mix of passion, market size, and opportunity to host the team. Imagine the A's rebranded and reborn on the banks of the Willamette River, giving Portland its long-awaited place on the MLB map. Still, relocation isn't the only path forward. In fact, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred has repeatedly expressed support for expansion, aiming to grow the league from 30 to 32 franchises. Several cities are jockeying for position, with Nashville, Salt Lake City, and Charlotte often named as strong contenders. Yet, Portland carries two distinct advantages that make it stand out. First, public funding for a stadium project has already received approval, a major hurdle that many competing cities still face. Second, Portland represents an underserved sports market. The city has a proven track record of supporting its professional teams, from the Trailblazers to the Timbers, and a new MLB franchise would tap into a fan base that's hungry for baseball. Whether through relocation or expansion, Portland has the ingredients MLB craves: a strong market, financial backing, and a story ready to unfold. Warm drink. All right, where are we at? If Major League Baseball is searching for its next big opportunity, Portland... Is that what I just read? Nope, I scrolled. Okay. If Major League Baseball is searching for its next big opportunity, Portland is a city that deserves serious consideration. The metro area is large, diverse, and growing, offering the kind of market expansion the league craves. Portland also has a strong sports culture. Fans already support the Trailblazers and Timbers with incredible loyalty. And baseball would fit right in. A new ballpark would instantly spark a regional rivalry with the Seattle Mariners. The Submariner? Fueling ticket sales, broadcast ratings, and non-stop storylines. Even more telling, PDX baseball merchandise continues to sell well despite the fact that the city doesn't have a team yet. That level of organic demand is rare and powerful. From a business perspective, the case for expansion is even stronger. Adding Portland means tapping into fresh revenue streams. New TV rights packages, corporate sponsorships, and local partnerships. It also broadens MLB's national footprint, creating opportunities for larger league-wide broadcast deals. The Diamond Project, a proposed $1.5 billion privately funded stadium development, gives the league an immediate head start, offering modern infrastructure designed to host fans and attract future growth. Portland isn't just another potential city on the list. It's a market ready to deliver both passion and profit from day one. Huzzah! Portland's $1.5 billion Diamond Project is a vision for the future of Major League Baseball. Positioned along the riverfront, the futuristic ballpark blends cutting-edge design with community-driven planning, funded through a mix of private investment and public support. But this isn't, I need a drink of coffee. All right. But this isn't simply about building a venue. It's about creating a vibrant new district that attracts fans, residents, and businesses alike. The Diamond Project is Portland's pitch to MLB. A declaration that the city's ready to host its own franchise. While the decision ultimately lies with league leadership, the message is loud and clear. Portland isn't just dreaming, it's building. If approved, this project could redefine expansion, setting a new standard for how sports stadiums integrate with cities. For Portland, the Diamond Project represents not only baseball's return, but also a transformative leap forward in urban development. We've explored the vision, the stakes, and the massive opportunity behind Portland's Diamond Project. Whether it's the Oakland A's making a move, or MLB choosing expansion, Portland has positioned itself as a frontrunner. And even if the league waits, this $1.5 billion dream stands as proof that cities are willing to go all in for America's game. Proof that cities are willing to go all in for America's game. If you enjoyed this journey into the future of sports mega projects, don't forget to subscribe to Future Build. Don't forget to subscribe to Future Builds. Your gateway to the world's boldest designs and ambitious projects. And tell us in the comments, do you think Portland will land MLB's next team? Do you think Portland will land MLB's next team? Or will another city swoop in first? The future of baseball might just start in Portland. If you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely want to check out our previous one on the Cincinnati Bengals $470 million Paycor Stadium renovation. And that's it. All right, so we can close that. Looks like I had a couple of them open because that's how I do. Did I finish that one? All right. Anyways, moving on. We got to stay focused. Keep moving. Excuse me so much. Alrighty then. We're going to... This is this and that is that, and we are gonna go over here. We're gonna go edit some audio. Yeah. I was telling my son when I was talking about doing this. I think I told my wife too. It's not really, yeah. Actually, I was talking to my wife about it at swim practice yesterday. I was like, it's really streaming this stuff isn't any different than just my normal life. Like, this is the same kind of goofy stuff. Just yammering on and singing and being dumb. The huge. How's that background look? What do you think of that, everybody? I don't know. Let me know. So I got to get my cans on. I got recordings that I was still working on yesterday that we can listen to. Or as I like to call, audio proof. That's too close. It's too close, I think. I don't think I'll like it, but I'm going to go with it for right now because I don't want to get lost in changing things, eh? So, actually, let's see, how well can I multitask? You see, my computer was busy trying to make a short that I could send out to find more people. So the idea is while I live stream, the short goes out to the shorts feed and attracts people. And then that's perfect. Okay, so, oh, no, I don't want to cut that. Okay, so I'm in. This is kind of rude. I'm going to work on this, and you can't see what I'm doing, so I apologize. But I'm in Opus Clip, and what this is, it's a tool that you can use so I can give it my live stream from yesterday. Am I pulling the curtain back too much? Am I explaining too much? I don't know. I'm going to do it anyway. But what it does, I can take my live stream from yesterday. I can take the link from it, take it to Opus Clip, put it in. It generates like a whole bunch of shorts from a section, that you select from your stream. And then you can go through and just find a short. And then for any of you aspiring YouTube people out there, the way that I understand that this is supposed to work is when you put out a short, it goes right into the short feed which gives you kind of random instant access to a fairly large audience, potentially, if the short performs well. And in this case, since I'm streaming right now live, anybody that comes across that short while they're swiping, if it's something that they're interested in, they might be like, hey mate, I think I want to go listen to this bearded chap talk a little. That's not a very good accent, but that's okay. But that's the whole idea behind it. And then I should probably share this, but I'm going to try to do it so fast that none is the wiser. Actually, here we go. I'm going to use my big brain if I got one. I have, I think, 2, yes, that are fully cut, ready to listen to, so I'll work on that and this at the same time because multitasking. Imagine a skyscraper so tall it disappears into the clouds. Not 500 meters, not even 800 meters like the Burj Khalifa, but 1 full kilometer into the sky. This is the Jeddah Tower, Saudi Arabia's audacious attempt to break every record in human construction. It is enormous, it is audacious, and it's happening right now. Picture this, 157 stories tall, rising from Arabian desert sands. Roughly 170 to 180 meters taller than the Burj Khalifa. 100 billion SAR, US $26 billion price tag to complete the remaining works. But can it reach its full kilometer goal into the sky? Project overview. Tall towers and buildings that scrape the sky as high as the eyes can see are not strange on Saudi Arabian soil. If anything, tall towers are a big part of Saudi Arabia's modern identity and development vision. The country has embraced super tall skyscrapers as symbols of economic power, cultural pride, and futuristic city planning. There's the Mik'D Royal Clock in Mecca, a towering edifice that measures 601 meters, 1,972 feet. This clock tower is one of the tallest buildings in Saudi Arabia and one of the tallest in the world. There's the Public Investment Fund Tower in Riyadh. This building, standing at 365 meters, 1,263 feet, is the tallest office building in Saudi Arabia and the tallest building in all of Riyadh. There's also the Mik'D, a 400-meter-tall cube-shaped skyscraper under construction in the Al Kirawan district of Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. However, come 2008, these buildings will be usurped by one tower upon... I'm pushing my system really hard right now, so I apologize if the stream kind of sucks. I just threw this short together in CapCut. And so, needless to say, it was making my computer run quite a bit harder. But now I can go through and close several things here, which is very good and should help with the stream. Let us continue. However, come 2008, these buildings will be usurped by one tower upon its completion. The new muse, the Jeddah Tower, also known as Burj Jeddah, or the Kingdom Tower. How did it all start? Rising on the shores of the Red Sea on the north side of Jeddah, the Jeddah Tower is the centerpiece of the Jeddah Economic City Project. This skyscraper, planned to be the world's first 1 kilometer tall, 3,281-foot building, would be the world's tallest building or structure and the crown jewel of the $20 billion Kingdom City development. Did I already deliver this? I don't remember listening to this one, but like I don't want to jinx myself, but I haven't really made any mistakes in this particular recording. It makes me feel like I already listened to it and fixed it, because it's usually not like that good. But sometimes I hit a flow. I don't know. If you were here yesterday, let me know. Was it really that good? 1 kilometer tall, 3,281-foot building would be the world's tallest building or structure and the crown jewel of the $20 billion Kingdom City development. Construction resumed in early 2025. While work is underway, completing a project of this magnitude remains a multi-year effort. But how did it start? The decision to build the Jeddah Tower was spurred by Saudi Arabia's ambition to symbolize its economic transformation and modernization. This forms a key part of the broader Saudi Vision 2030 initiative, directed towards diversifying the kingdom's economy away from oil dependence and boosting sectors like real estate, tourism, and technology. To create a building such as this one, Saudi billionaire Prince Alawid bin Talal, who was leading the project, formed an alliance with architect Adrian Smith, who designed the Burj Khalifa. The plan was simple at first: to create a statement by building a skyscraper that is over 1 kilometer tall. To many, this project was intended to surpass the Burj Khalifa. However, one thing was certain: a tower this tall would be a statement of Saudi Arabia's future ambitions and capabilities. The tower's design. The building was designed to a height of at least 1,008.2 meters, 3,308 feet. It would be set on a 50-hectare, 120-acre plot, surrounded by buildings. This was intended to be the first phase of a 3-year Jeddah economic city development. And what exactly is this project? What is going on here? I don't think I've deleted anything from this thing. I'm not trying to brag. I feel like I'm double working. I feel like I already did this, but I didn't turn it in. I didn't log it on any of my sheets, so I guess I'll just keep going here, eh? Of a 3-year Jeddah economic city development. And what exactly is this project? Well, the 3-phase Jeddah economic city development was proposed for a large area of undeveloped waterfront land with an area of 5.2 square kilometers, 2 square miles. This area is located about 20 kilometers. I remember it now. Area is located about 20 kilometers, 12 miles north of the port city of Jeddah. The development is set to include residential, commercial, and mixed-use spaces designed to create a modern city hub. And the Jeddah Tower is only the beginning. But what exactly would this tower look like? The Jeddah Tower's design features a 3-winged, aerodynamic, Y-shaped profile with a hexagonal buttressed core to withstand wind loads at extreme heights, and a tapered form that reduces heat gain. This unique shape consists of 3 wings separated by 120 degrees, allowing for greater stability and expansive views without compromising privacy. At heights such as this, the tower requires stability to minimize swaying and ensure the safety of all occupants. From the ground up, the Jeddah Tower is built for optimal stability. The foundation uses hundreds of reinforced concrete piles. These piles are driven more than 100 meters into the ground to reach stable bedrock, with shallower depths under the wings. The Jeddah Tower's foundation is similar to that of the Burj Khalifa, but larger. The foundation is expected to average around 4.5 meters, 15 feet deep, with a concrete pad of an area of around 7,500 square meters, 81,000 square feet. The concrete used will have low permeability to keep out corrosive salt water from the Red Sea. The rock strata are mixed with materials such as limestone and sand and require careful engineering to manage settlement. The design calls for enormous quantities of steel and concrete, though exact final numbers may vary. The foundation will be built to stabilize the building, which will weigh over 900,000 tons, 890,000 long tons, 990,000 short tons. A later plan for the foundation, to be completed by Bauer in 2013, called for 270 drilled piles up to 110 meters, 360. Woo, this has been a long stretch, eh? Let's just take a second. I don't even want to let my voice get this cold. I mean, not that I'm normally sitting here talking through all this, but this has been a pretty long stretch of, pretty good. Hi, welcome to the stream, whoever you may be. My name's Mike. Welcome to Mik'd Up. You just came to work with a voiceover actor. What we're doing now is I am audio proofing, which is where I give a final listen to a recording that I've made and edited. And now I'm listening through one last time to just make sure there's no errors, and there will be. And then I'm also multitasking, working on a little something other. But in a moment, we're going to add on to this not only audio proof, but also be cutting up a fresh recording that I already did at the same time. So stick around for that. We're going to keep audio proofing this one for just a little bit so you can kind of get a feel for the feeling, see what we're looking at, take a look at Reaper, get yourself familiar with what's going on. You see that I've got like a million different projects in here because of the way my voiceover workflow works. So, there's cut audio that still needs to be listened to. And then in the future over here, I haven't gotten to yet, there's audio that's recorded that hasn't been cut yet that still needs processed. So it's all kind of a in one end, processed, out the other. But we're going to continue here with this mega structure script that we recorded yesterday. Tower in 2013 called for 270 drilled piles up to 110 meters, 360 feet deep, which have to be inserted into the tough ground conditions. The tower's form will taper elegantly as it transcends in an aerodynamic shape designed to minimize vortex shedding and reduce oscillations caused by... Hold on. Is there a P in there? There should have been a P at the end of that word, and I think it's hidden. If we're lucky, there's a little dot. A little dot as I pull this over. Oh, I think I remember this one. I think this is the one that snuck through without a P. Dynamic shape. It's unfortunate, but they happen sometimes, and you just have to bite the bullet and go. The thing is, if I were to go in and try to re-record this, it would create an unnecessary break in the continuity, because you can patch in and do a good job of patching in, but there's always going to be just that little bit that just usually. So if you can avoid it, you should avoid it. So we're not going to punch in for a missing P. We're just going to kind of grimace as it goes through and just keep going. Dynamic shape designed to minimize vortex shedding and reduce oscillations caused by high coastal winds. With a shape that reduces wind forces to help it withstand intense gusts in the coastal city of Jeddah, the tower is built for occupant comfort at extreme heights. This tapering also maximizes usable interior space while maintaining an incredible height-to-width ratio. At the very top, the tower soars beyond 1,000 meters. It features a massive spire that houses tuned mass dampers to stabilize the building against wind and seismic activity. Just below the spire is the world's highest observation deck, located well above 500 meters, one of the highest ever planned. This observation deck will offer breathtaking panoramic views of the fully developed area. The exact measurements of these structures are still subject to final design confirmation. The tower's exterior cladding features high-performance glass and aluminum panels designed to reflect solar radiation and reduce heat transmission. These features also provide exceptional views and daylighting. Structural steel and reinforced concrete work together in a composite system, ensuring both strength and flexibility to withstand seismic forces and thermal expansion over the tower's height. Inside, the tower will be equipped with a large number of elevators. These elevators will be designed to be efficient vertical transport systems to serve the tower, though some exact counts and specs are still being finalized. As for its internal systems, Chicago-based Environmental Systems Design, Inc. will provide mechanical, plumbing, electrical, and fire protection engineering. In the tower, there will also be teledata, audio-visual, security systems, and acoustics. The tower's design also integrates sustainable features such as energy recovery ventilation, water-saving plumbing, and potential for solar energy harvesting on the facade and rooftop areas. According to the design plan, Langen International will be responsible for... Finally, at 8 minutes and 28 seconds, I bet I listened to this up until this point yesterday, but what's kind of strange is I usually leave my cursor where I was, so at some point I must have been filtering through tabs and hit W to get the cursor to go all the way back to the beginning, but that's okay. We only lost 8 minutes of our day, which is inefficient, but it's not the worst thing ever, so let's keep going. I was able to get the short done while we were doing this, so just now, if you look behind you, a short for the channel just went out into the shorts feed. So hopefully a flood of people join us and start to hang out and learn about all this crazy voiceover stuff that we do. We should probably continue, eh? such as energy recovery ventilation, water-saving plumbing, and potential for solar energy harvesting on the facade and rooftop areas. According to the design plan, Langen International will be responsible for geotechnical engineering and certain ground-level site work, such as transportation engineering and parking. In the tower's design, there's a proposed space for a 3,000 to 4,700 cars design. There's a proposed. All right, so here we get to actually talk about something. All right. In the tower's design, there's a proposed. So right there. And, you know, it's an interesting thing that's happened over time. So I don't know if you caught what just happened, but I didn't put that cursor there. I was in that area, but I didn't click in that exact spot to put that cursor there. Reaper apparently has something going on, and I've noticed I've either become more aware of it or it's gotten better at learning me, but it almost feels like kind of a built-in AI that knows where that cut needs to be to put these two things together. So I'm not even going to move it. I'm going to just try it and see if it's right. And let's just hit delete. And let's see if Reaper nailed it, eh? Work, such as transportation engineering and parking. In the tower's design, there's a proposed space. I'll take that. That's good enough. I don't think most people would catch that when they're listening to it. Good job, Reaper. Reaper's good. Such as transportation engineering and parking. In the tower's design, there's a proposed space for a 3,000 to... That could be better, though. Let's hear that again. In the tower's design, there's a proposed... Is it that gap in there? Is that what we don't like? It might be. Let's try this. Parking. In the tower's design, there's a proposed space for a 3,000 to 4,700 car underground parking garage. This parking garage will be located near but not under the tower to prevent terrorism. Ah, that's gross that we have to do that. Key parts of the tower to prevent terrorism or to prevent terrorism. Key parts of the tower. Okay, so here's where we're going to level up a little bit. Hello again, everybody. My name's Mike. Welcome to the show. Go to work with a voice actor. I'm a voice actor. Right now what we're doing is we are audio proofing this audio, which is where we listen to it. This is the final step before we turn it into the client. And we're listening for any mistakes or any little anomalies that we could clean up. We've been doing this for a little while. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a second thing to do on top of it. We need to multitask, right? Because when you're audio proofing like this, you're pretty much just using your ears. And then you'll occasionally have to come over to the computer and do something, right, to cut out some spots or whatever. But if you had a good read, you're not going to be super active in it. So what I like to do at the same time is cut audio that I've already recorded. And you can do that without listening to it. So if you watch now, things are going to start moving pretty quick. The mouse moves around pretty fast. What I'm doing, let me just explain the basics to you real quick. So I'm coming over here. Okay, so we're not going to do that one. We're going to do this one. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of it. We're going to unarm it for recording and unmute it because it just doesn't need to be. This is probably just me talking. Too much downtime, Mike. Get it together, bro. Yeah, see. But this right here should be where it actually starts. What if a city with no... Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go right here in My Reaper, and I think it's the standard one. S is how you split a track, which is what I'm going to do. Bloop, right there. Now, I like to build a little bit of buffer space. You don't really want your voice to start like the exact second you hit play. So, well, let's grab a tool. That leads me right to this. I go to a previous project, and I always leave this open because it has these little sections of dead air. It's a very small amount. You could probably tell by looking at the little dealio, like that's a half second from here to here is a half second, and I've just got this little bit of space here, right? But it's like a tool for art. I can manipulate the way the audio works. I can put in extra time. You'll see what I mean here. So let's go back to, all right, this one. Now, we wanted a little space after we hit play so it doesn't immediately start, right? Well, here we go. I copied that empty space. Now I can just hit Control-V and paste in a few of those. Now I have maybe a half-ish second. I don't know. But I can delete all this stuff over here because that was just garbage. W gets us back to the beginning. And now there's just that little bit of, what if a city with... instead of it starting right hard, just right in your ear, just
What if a city
gives you just that little bit of,
what if a city with no
it's just a little bit, takes away the kind of jump effect that can happen sometimes. So that now, excuse me. Now what I start doing, and this is where it gets fast. So you see how chaotic this is, the spacing, and you need bam, split, click in the middle, delete. And then you just come. And depending on what you're reading determines the pace that, it needs to sound. So if you're reading something scary or sad, serious. Sorry, I'm gunking up. Then you want the pace to be a little bit slower. Then when you go to cut this, you might put your cuts here so that there's a little bit more space in between phrases and sentences and things. But this is a YouTube narration, and this is something that's meant to be kind of moving. So we're going to cut just real close to the ends of the words, the beginnings and the ends of the words, to really get rid of that space. And then we be careful of things that we see along the way. So like that is a sound. It's at the end of what's probably an S. So it's probably a consonant. It's probably a T sound or a P sound. Let's just see.
transform this that could transform
Nope, it's a mistake. So you learn these as you go, but you learn that that might be something. So to have an efficient workflow, you're going to leave it there, because when you're audio proofing, that's when you're going to hear it. And if it's a mistake, it's real quick and easy to just go in and delete it. It takes a little bit more time to re-add something that you deleted. It's still super easy. Like, let's say I cut this off and it turned out to be something that I needed. Well, all I got to do is move this over and slide this over. This is non-destructive editing, so the whole thing's always still there somewhere. So, that's not hard, but it takes a little bit more time than it does to just come here, click this, and hit delete. So that's usually what I'll do, is leave those little spots at the end of sections here, because it's usually a consonant or something that the word needs. I know that's a super weird detail to spend time talking about, but that can be the difference between getting 10 to 12 scripts done a day versus, getting 4 or 5. And that can make a massive difference to your paycheck. So now we get into a groove. I do a combination of zooming in and zooming out to move myself down the screen. And I just try to remove, of course, anything that I see that would represent additional noise. So here's a clap. You see this spike here. What this spike in this waveform is when I was reading, I was going from one section to another section. And since I cut with my eyes and not with my ears, the easiest way to know to add a little bit of a space in there is to clap. Because when I clap, it creates that spike. And as I do this, I'm like, oh, that's a little section where I need to put in, a handful of those little spaces that we talked about. And then I can do. And that way now, when we're going to this next section, instead of just being like a regular sentence with regular spacing.
be true, too good to be true. Stick around, because the answer might surprise you. And then we got the clap. I clap between any.
Well, that's me talking to the stream, but you get the point. It puts enough of a space in there, and you did it just super fast as you were just breezing through. And that's what this workflow is designed to be, fast and efficient. Because when you first start out in voiceover, you're not making unless you score some good gigs right out the gates, then you're going to be making good money. But chances are, you're going to be doing pretty low pay work, and you need to start turning that work over quick. So this whole workflow was designed to be super efficient and just crank material out as fast as possible. And this is how I do it. By the way, hi, this is Mike. Welcome to everybody that's in here. Please be sure to subscribe. If you hit the like button, it's going to help more people see it. If you know somebody that's into this stuff, shoot them a link or whatever. But anyways, we got some work to do, so let's keep rolling. You got the idea now, so I'm just going to work my way down this entire... You see at the top, my timeline here, I'm at the 1 minute mark, 1 minute, 2 seconds. This whole voiceover raw with mistakes and everything is just over 22.5 minutes long. So what we're going to do is it'll take me, I don't know, what, 10, 12 minutes to cut this, I think. I did a race yesterday in the stream to see how long it would take me to do 10 minutes, to cut 10 minutes of audio, and I think I did it in like 6 minutes. It was pretty fun. Anyways, but here's where we up the complicated part. So you got to really work with me here. Watch this and see this. This is super fun. So what you're doing is we're going to listen to this one while we're cutting the other one. Let's go. Actually, let me get a quick sip of my Hulk juice because I'm gonna dig in like an Alabama tick here for a minute and crank some of this out. Let's go.
Parking garage. This parking garage will be located near but not under the tower to prevent terrorism. Key parts of the tower design. Well, hello there, Fighter Plays. Good to see you. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. I'm Mike. I'm a professional voiceover artist. Otherwise, I'm just going to fumble through my script here.
Every day I'm hustling.
Nope, key parts of the tower design. Feel free to fire away, ask any questions you got on through the old YouTube, eh? You found me. Let's see. Parts of the tower design are created by terrorism. Key parts of the tower design. Key parts of the tower prevent terrorism. Key parts of the tower design are created by different companies to ensure efficiency in every detail, no matter how minor. Oh, you're a new YouTuber. Right on. Welcome to the game. I kind of am too. For example, besides handling every detail, no matter how minor. For example, besides handling transportation engineering, Langen International also designed the tower's foundation to ensure it'll be able to support the foundation to ensure.
It's always when it falls on a consonant, when you got to do a cut and it falls on a consonant, in this case it's the T, that makes it so much easier because with those strong consonant sounds, there's always a big waveform and there's usually nothing right before it. So you can just cut right there, which you'll see. That's my T.
To ensure.
So I can just cut right before the T and then just cut that little dead space there. And then it should be a seamless, when we listen to this sentence again, it ought to be like there was nothing ever there. Hey, do me a favor. This kind of question always fascinates me. If you would entertain me and tell me in the chat where you're watching from. I always find that super fascinating. Anyways, here we go. Let's see how this sounds.
Also designed the tower's foundation to ensure it'll be able.
That's a little too fast, just a tiny bit too fast. I bet if I paste in a buffer, it's going to sound like too much of a pause, so we might cut the buffer out. Let's see what this sounds like.
Designed the tower's foundation to ensure it'll be able. Designed the tower's foundation to ensure it'll be able to support.
Sometimes when I can't tell, I go a little further back.
Besides handling transportation engineering, Langen International also designed the tower's foundation to ensure it'll be able to support.
I think I'm happy with that, but I think I was right with my initial assessment. I'm going to cut a little bit of this buffer space out. Let's see if that just rolls in the ear a little bit better. When I hit play this time, and this is a little thing that I do to keep myself from, what do they call it, paralysis by analysis. Instead of thinking this like crazy, it's questionable, but I'm just going to hit play, and I'm going to move to something else. And if it doesn't like super grab my attention again, I'm just going to keep going.
For example, besides handling transportation engineering, Langen International also designed the tower's foundation to ensure it'll be able to support the tower despite the less optimal subsurface conditions, such as soft rock and permeable, See,
the trick worked. I didn't even catch what it was we were even listening for in the first place. So it was good enough.
Optimal subsurface conditions, such as soft rock and permeable coral. Let's see, Fighter says, and struggling with my own voiceovers. It's a whole thing, man. Are you? Let's see, Fighter says, and permeable coral. Like, what would you say these architectural, such as soft rock and permeable coral. These architectural contributions and permeable coral. These architectural contributions and innovations create a tower that is not only the world's tallest, but engineered to thrive in challenging environmental conditions while redefining vertical living in workspaces. All right, we're about to go to the next section here. The tower's surroundings. The Jeddah Tower is designed to living in workspaces. The tower's surroundings. The Jeddah Tower is designed to be a mixed-use... Fighter said something here. It's incredible to see you do retail. To be a
Do you hear how excited I get when people talk in the chat? That's okay. You don't have to. I like you.
Surroundings. The Jeddah Tower is designed to be a mixed-use... Fighter said something here. It's incredible to see you do retakes on my... with voiceovers that suck. Yes. Yes, you are right.
Yes.
Everything about these. You got to fight it to be efficient. You got to fight because when you go to edit, you're going to make your... Continue to watch, and if you want to kind of perfect... I'm going to be able to show you in a minute here. I'm going to sit down.
Come on, man. Get back.
And I'm going to show you how I edit it right. It's easy to get disjointed sentences. But anyway, and you just have to have the patience later to put it all...
I wondered why this raw recording was so long. I was looking at it, and I saw the title, and I know this channel, and I'm like, well, I know how long these usually are. These usually aren't 20-some minutes long, and it's because the voiceover guy was up here yapping, just like I am right now.
Soundings. Try to make a voiceover that doesn't sound like crap. Let's get back into this next section.
Yep, let's get back into this next section here. By the way, hello. Hi, hello, good morning. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. I'm Mike. I'm a voiceover artist, and you've come to work with me. We're doing two things at the same time. We are audio proofing, which means we're listening for mistakes before we turn in to our client, and we're chopping up raw recordings, getting them ready for audio proofing. Let's go.
Our surroundings. But yes, please hang out and don't stop. If you have questions, fire away. The Jeddah Towers, please hang out and don't stop. If you have questions, fire away. The Jeddah Tower is designed to be the tower's surroundings. The Jeddah Tower is designed to be a mixed-use skyscraper. It'll contain a combination of residential, commercial, and recreational spaces. The tower will house a luxury Four Seasons hotel, Four Seasons short rental apartments, Class A office space, and luxury condominiums.
Okay, so all that had too many spaces in it for my liking. Crap. I stopped playing it before I saw where it was. We're going to have to re-listen.
The tower's surroundings. The Jeddah Tower is designed to be a mixed-use skyscraper. It'll contain a combination of residential, commercial, and recreational spaces.
Okay, so there was a big space in there that got left behind that just made the whole thing kind of drag. So we're going to get rid of that. It's right here. Hopefully it doesn't make it sound cut off. Let's give it a listen again. Oh, this kind of dragged on too. This whole area had just kind of a slow drag to it that got kind of boring, and it just, Control Z, bring that back. All right, there we go. Let's give this another go.
The tower's surroundings. The Jeddah Tower is designed to be a mixed-use skyscraper. It'll contain a combination of residential, commercial, and recreational spaces. The tower will house a luxury Four Seasons hotel, Four Seasons short rental apartments,
Okay, we got the same problem over here, just big gaps in between. Our voiceover guy was talking slow. You got to be careful when you're in the nitty-gritty here, because sometimes there's little hanger-ons in between words that you don't realize you actually kind of need it there for it to sound right. So you think you're cleaning something up, but you end up creating this jarring sensation. So when you're really in there close, not all gaps are created equal.
A luxury Four Seasons hotel, Four Seasons short rental apartments, Class A office space, and luxury condominiums. I'm going to highlight that so I know where I'm stopping. One other thing I wanted to point out to you.
That means I'm going to run my mouth.
Condominiums. I'm going to highlight that so I know where I'm stopping. Don't be a lot of the mistakes that we make as voiceovers. Just keep it cooking out of your voiceover track than it is to try to fix pauses in between phrases. A half a sentence or a sentence, hugely helpful because again, then standing here, it's okay to pause in between. You can cut all that out. In addition,
I think we're back to the actual voiceover now. Let's go.
Space and luxury condominiums. In addition, it'll contain other unique amenities that'll enable it. It'll contain other condominiums. In addition, it'll contain other unique amenities that'll enable it to function as a self-sustaining vertical city, including retail areas and restaurants. There'll be public spaces, dedicated zones for offices, and dedicated residential areas, all connected by multiple sky lobbies for efficient efficient vertical transportation. The 23 hectares, 57 acres, I got to try to make that sound good. The 23 hectares, 57 acres, area surrounding
What did that even mean? Of course you got to make it sound good.
23 hectares, 57 acres. I got to try to make that sound good. The 23 hectares, physical transportation. The 23 hectares, 57 acres, area surrounding the Jeddah Tower will be developed to contain public areas, a shopping mall, and other residential and commercial developments. This area will be known as the Jeddah Tower Waterfront.
If you're new here and you're listening to this and you're like, man, this guy's good, you ain't listened to me read yet. If you just give me a little bit, once we're done cutting up this one that I'm cutting up right now, whenever I don't have anything to cut anymore, that's when I go over there and record a new script. So the input sounds very different than the output, but you'll find out. Let's go.
Residential and commercial developments. This area will be known as the Jeddah Tower Waterfront District. Not only will the I
wanted to pause in there, but more importantly, I wanted to hear what this was.
The Time Variance Authority.
Oh, we're leaving that. I want to hear that when I do my recut. That's another fun thing to do to break up the monotony of your day is tell yourself jokes while you're doing your read. And then when you hear it later, you'll be like, I'm so funny. Wait, you're not narcissist? Well, you're at the wrong channel then. We're not going to have anything. We're not going to relate at all.
Commercial developments. This area will be known as the Jeddah Tower Waterfront District. Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the entire Jeddah Tower...
I don't like the way that attacked. It felt a little jarring. So I'm going to try a trick that you got to be careful with, but it might soften the edge just a skoosh. So we're going to take and just roll this in a little bit. You got to be careful when you're rolling this in on something that's loud because it can create like a super obvious volume up effect. But with this, that's not what I'm going for. What I'm trying to do is just, when I first said those words, it was like, and you want it to be a little bit softer. You know what I mean? Let's see what this sounds like.
Area will be known as the Jeddah Tower Waterfront District. Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the entire...
Excuse me. And since it was a split syllable thing, not only, which was something I naturally performed that way, not only, it meant I could round that off even more. And that worked out really good. Sorry about all that. All right, cool. Well,
developments. This area will be known as the Jeddah Tower Waterfront District. Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the entire Jeddah Tower,
Okay, so here's where I start fumbling over my words. Hello to all the new folks. Glad to see you. My name's Mike. I'm a voiceover artist, and we are audio proofing a voiceover recording that I did, I think this one was yesterday. And we're cutting audio at the same time, but we found a mistake in the one that we're listening to. So we're going to go in and try to fix it a little bit. It was something I had to repeat the line. If you want to do voiceover, get the line right during the recording. It's so much easier than having to patch in later. It's not that difficult to pop in new lines if you have to, so I don't want to make it sound so bad. But, like, it takes time. And if you're trying to work in a high efficiency mode, just get it right the first time. Even though it's frustrating to have to say the same sentence like 4 times in a row, it's worth it. But let's see what we got to do here to make this right.
Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the entire Jeddah Tower,
Okay, so it's the but, and the but started there. You might have seen me mark it right out the word, right at the gates. I was listening to this voiceover guy, and it was just, he talks for a living, but he just can't even talk.
Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the entire Jeddah Tower Waterfront District will be a statement and testament to genius architecture in Saudi Arabia.
Has too long of a pause for me.
Jeddah Tower Waterfront District will be a statement and testament to genius.
Oh, no, that's not good either.
Statement and testament.
It's going to sound better if we get rid of the T at the end. It's going to sound wrong if we get rid of the T at the end, but it's going to sound better if we get rid of it.
Statement and testament
What if I round it off? And put a space and bring this in and soften the attack. That's a lot going on for just a little bit of audio, isn't it? But, you know, if you're going to do something, do it right. What did she say? You got one job, and that's to be good at your job.
District will be a statement and testament to genius architecture in Saudi Arabia. Now, when you pause like that, you got to train yourself to pick up tonally right where you left off. Because if you do that pause, right, but then when you come back in, you sound totally different. That is going to create a disjointed thing in your audio. But if you can you train yourself that when you pause vocal place you were, that way when you come right back in, you can go right back into it. Yeah. Together, the project will stand. Did I say that? No, I don't think I said that. Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the entire Jeddah Tower waterfront district will be a statement and testament to genius architecture in Saudi Arabia. Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the entire Jeddah Tower waterfront district will be... Yeah, that's where I was. Together, the project will stand as a landmark and testament to but the entire Jeddah Tower waterfront district will be a statement and testament to genius architecture and...
Okay, so I'm revisiting this T. I don't normally take out space between the end of a word and the consonant, like the S or the T or the P that came after it, but that is really dragging this sentence down, so I'm going to take this space out. It's going to sound weird, but it should be okay. It's going to move quick enough that it shouldn't alert our ears too much that anything is amiss. Let's listen to that real quick.
Entire Jeddah Tower waterfront district will be a statement and testament to genius architecture in Saudi Arabia. Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but...
That dragged a little bit also. We can bring that spacing in. This whole area drags. That's what I'm trying to fix right now.
Will be a statement and
you don't want
testament
it to be obvious,
to genius architecture in Saudi Arabia. Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the...
Do I just need some more space? I just took space out of there. Let's listen to this again.
Testament to genius architecture in Saudi Arabia. Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the entire Jeddah Tower waterfront district will be... Yeah, that's where I was. Together, the project will stand as a landmark structure.
Wow. I got myself lost in here.
In public areas, a shopping mall, and other residential and commercial developments. This area will be known as the Jeddah Tower Waterfront District. Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the entire Jeddah Tower waterfront district will be a statement and testament to genius architecture in Saudi Arabia. Not only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the entire Jeddah Tower waterfront district will be... Yeah, that's where I was. Only will the Jeddah Tower be a landmark, but the entire... to genius architecture in Saudi Arabia. Together, the project will stand as a landmark in Saudi Arabia. Together, the project will stand as a landmark structure that will greatly increase the value of hundreds of other properties around it in Jeddah Economic City, and view of hundreds of other properties around it in Jeddah Economic City and North Jeddah as a whole. What this means for Saudi Arabia. Currently, there's a growing demand for housing in Saudi Arabia, fueled by a shortage of supply due to an increasing population. The tower will serve as the centerpiece of Jeddah Economic City, a major development that aims to attract international investment, tourism, and global talent. Economically, the tower and its surrounding district are expected to dramatically increase land and property values, boosting the local and national real estate market.
Okay, there was a serious space issue going on there. Obviously, there was the repeated phrase, but even still, there's some spacing issues going on down here. Things are starting to drag just a little bit. We got to watch out for that. Okay, let's try this.
Investment, tourism, and global talent. Economically, the tower and its surrounding district are expected to dramatically increase land and property values, boosting the local and national real estate market. Additionally, the Jeddah Tower reinforces Saudi Arabia's image as a center for architectural excellence and economic innovation, with plans to house luxury residences, offices, retail, and excellence and economic innovation, with plans to house luxury residences, offices, retail, and one of the world's highest observation decks. The project is offices, retail, and one of the world's highest observation decks. The project is expected to stimulate infrastructure development, create thousands of jobs, and position Jeddah as a global city. Investments exceeding $400 billion in infrastructure across the kingdom will support.
You might be hearing some of those little anomalies in there, the little crackles and stuff. It's not actually real. You may have caught once or twice. I heard one, and I went back and I hit play on that section again, and it wasn't there the second time. What that means, it was just my system working too hard and creating interference on the playback. It wasn't the actual recording that had that issue. And that's why I go back and listen to it a second time. If it's not in the same spot that second time, it wasn't real. So don't think I'm being sloppy or letting crap go through. That's not the case. That's what's happening.
The global city. Investments.
I should really have two machines running to do what I'm doing right now. I should be doing my voiceover work on one and a whole separate thing for this whole stream deal on another. But, start with what you got, baby.
Thousands of jobs and position Jeddah as a global city. Investments exceeding $400 billion in infrastructure across the kingdom will support and complement this mega project, including a new airport terminal, enhancing. Jeddah Tower started 12.
See, you can see there that I detected. I could hear that I was starting to just kind of get a little bit. So I popped it back up and got a little faster again. That happens.
$400 billion in infrastructure across the kingdom will support and complement this mega project, including a new airport terminal, enhancing connectivity. Construction of the including a new airport terminal, enhancing connectivity. Construction of the airport terminal, enhancing connectivity. Construction of the Jeddah Tower started 12 years ago on April 1st, 2013. Soil testing commenced in 2008, and work on the foundation was scheduled to begin towards the end of 20. Soil testing commenced in 2008, and work on the foundation was scheduled to begin towards the end of 2012. Back then, the plan was for the tower to be completed in 2017. And the plan was 12. Back then, the plan was for the tower to be completed in 2017. I'm not sure if my background is going crazy to you or not, but on my little vision screen, it looks like it is, so maybe I got more stuff to figure out than I thought. See, I can talk, but I am not a videographer. The architect for the project.
What?
I'm not sure if my background is going crazy to you, for the tower to be completed in 2017.
What a rookie.
The architect for the project, Adrian Smith of Adrian Smith and Gordon Gill Architecture of Adrian Smith and Gordon Gill.
All right. Okay. No, I don't want to cut it there, actually. I want to cut it right here. And then right here. Can we put two together and it sounds good?
Adrian Smith and Gordon Gill Architecture, AS plus GG, was selected. Architecture, AS plus GG, was selected in March 2010. Smith was not a random. Let me just mark my spot. Go back here. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you, dude. We're just about to the. Smith was not a random. Let me just mark N. Smith was not a random choice, but AS plus GG was selected in March 2010. Smith was not a random choice, but was selected because they won a design competition between 8 leading architectural firms, including Cone Peterson Fox, leading architectural firms, including Cone Peterson Fox, Pickard Chilton, Pelly Clark Pelly, and Foster & Partners. Besides the Burj Khalifa, Adrian Smith has designed several other recent towers, including the Zifeng Tower, other recent towers, including the Z.
So we're cutting it at including. Wait, is that what we want to do? Yeah, because that's easy to cut on all of these. Okay.
Including the Zifeng in China, the Trump International, including the Xi.
Okay, so that's the one that's good. You can just tell they all look the same, right? So
hours, including the Z.
From here to here. If we cut this out, we should end up with a sentence that you can't even tell. Let's see.
Several other recent towers, including the Zifeng Tower in Nanjing in China, the Trump International Hotel and Tower in Chicago, and the Jinmao Tower in Shanghai. Designs for the foundation were officially in place by early August 2011. On the 16th of the same month, Langen International early August 2011. On the 16th of the same month, Langen International officially announced their involvement in the construction process. Construction officially started on April 1st, 2013. April Fool's Day. That's kind of a weird day to start a mega project. Piling was completed on April 1st, 2013. Piling was completed in December 2013, and above-ground construction commenced in September 2014. As of mid-2025, Jeddah Tower had reached around its of mid-2025, Jeddah Tower had reached around its 68th to 70th floor. It's anticipated that the Jeddah Tower will be finished in 2028 and open for use in the same year. We're in the conclusion section. That clap, if you haven't heard the explanation yet, you'll know why I do that in a second. Beyond its record-breaking height, Jeddah Tower symbolizes Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, an ambition to transform its cities, economy, and global image. For engineers, architects, and dreamers worldwide, it's a project that pushes the very limits of what humanity can build. So here's the question. If we can reach 1 kilometer today, how long before humanity reaches 2?
Woo! All right. So that's done. That's 14 minutes long. Math hard. Got it. My rates are calculated usually on length, so I had to take the number of minutes times my multiplier. And numbers hard. So we normalize. What normalizing does? In this case, we're normalizing up, which means we're bringing the overall volume up. And then we also turn on the brick wall limit, and we set it to peak, and we set it to -1. What that means is even though we turned it up, it's not allowed to get so loud in any loud spot that it makes your speakers clip out and make that nasty little distortion sound. And then we usually make MP3s around here. Then we hit render. And then I go over here, just do a couple super fast little things. I've gotten better about being fast at this-ish, so that y'all aren't sitting there like, what is he doing? I just see him typing away on his computer. I think he's rude. Was that the... Yep, math hard. Well, that's still rendering anyway, so I'm not really schmucking it up too bad because there's not really anything else we would be doing right now except waiting for this rendering to get done. So it is what it is. My boy's right there. And then we need to go and find that man. And he's right here. We're grabbing this newest recording. We're dropping it into Google Drive. And then we're going to go over to, I should probably talk to all my clients. Everybody whose script that you hear me read, I have permission to read. So thank you to all of you that have given me the green light to do this. But I still don't like to show, you know, the Trello boards and the actual scripts and stuff, just because I feel like maybe there's something in there that I shouldn't. But I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Paralysis analysis, right? And I just pop this up real quick, like, go to homie here. Oh, new order just came in. Let me get him on my thinger-dinger here. I found with my workflow, I use, what is this called? The Google, the thing that looks like Excel with Google. I use that to organize my schedule. And I've got it set up whether I'm on my phone or on my computer. I have access to this particular document. And no matter what time of day it is, if a client turns in a script, wants to get a script done, I pull out my phone, whatever, and put it on my work schedule right in that moment, and it's all color-coded so I know what I'm doing. Because I found in this freelance world, you don't want to forget somebody's order. That's like terrible, so don't do that. Get yourself organized, come up with a system. It's not that difficult, really. I got that on there, and then I go back to this guy and say, Jeddah Tower is up! Exclamation point. Price. Followed by a thumbs up. Got it. That's all there. That's all good. What are we doing next? Do I get to delete anything? I already deleted all the things. I recorded that one. We're going to my man right here. Let me find him, and we're going to pull up this script. This channel is typically like international based. What to even call it? Okay, so the channel is the Global Trotter. The Global Trotter. So if you want to check it out, that's the channel name. And then here's today's script. Popular retirement places to avoid. This is always such an interesting job because of the fact that this is not material that I would normally consume. Nothing against this channel. It's just not the kind of stuff that I'm going to be looking up right now. So to get to learn it, you know, about random things like this is just super entertaining. Now, I just realized that, oh. No, we're not going to read just yet. We're going to keep listening because we still have stuff to cut. So we're going to go to the next one that I have recorded and cut. And this is from the channel Brick Body. Super cool channel. Look this one up. It'll probably actually improve your life. It has to do with physical fitness and working out and that kind of stuff. So we're going to start listening to this one while we finish chopping up the one we were just chopping up. Let's go.
Your physique isn't being held back because your arms are small. It's because your neck is missing in action. Your physique isn't being held back because your arms are small. It's because your neck is missing in action. Your physique isn't being held back because your arms are small. It's because your neck is missing in action. You'll train chest, back, shoulders, arms, and legs religiously. But the neck, nowhere in the program. And yet, this single muscle group can completely change the way your entire body looks. You've probably seen those comparison photos. Same face, same the way your entire body looks. You've probably seen those comparison photos. Same face, same frame, but one guy has a pencil neck and the other has a thick built one. Suddenly, everything about him looks stronger, more confident, more masculine.
What are you going to do about a pencil neck?
Holy moly, excuse
Holy
me. But here's
moly.
the truth.
This guy.
Confident, more masculine. But here's the truth. 90% of people never train it. 90% of masculine. But here's the truth. 90% of people never train it. They throw the neck into the same forgotten category as legs. And you know what that means? It stays weak. You go through life with bad posture, no presence, no aura. A thick neck is a game changer. You don't just look stronger.
Oh, I heard
you
a thingy.
look like you've been
hear
through
that?
something.
I was running my mouth, so you might not have heard it, but there was a little intake of air somewhere, a little extra mouth noise. Let's find it and get rid of it.
You don't just look strong.
Right there. It's almost definitely this right here, but we're going to separate them just in case to see if it's at the end of this.
Aura. A thick neck is a game changer.
Nope, we're good there. So there's got to be a little something at the beginning of this.
You don't just look.
Just the tiniest little thing, but you know what? You can see it, and it's making noise. So we're going to put that in there. There's plenty of space between these two, so I don't feel the need to add a little sliver of space there. Bum, bum, boom, 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 boom. Oh, yeah.
Aura. A thick neck is a game changer. You don't just look stronger. You look like you've been through something. You look like you've been through something. You look unshakable.
It was at the beginning of that. You can see it. Do you see it? I see it. And you could hear it. Listen.
Like you've been through something. You look like you.
Little lip smack.
Like you've been through something. You look like you've been.
So the second take is the one we want to keep, but we got to get rid of that.
Game changer. You don't just look stronger. You look like you've been through something. You look unshakable. And it's not just about looks. If you wake up with.
Okay, that needs a space in there.
You've been through something. You look unshakable. And it's not just about looks. If you wake up with neck stiffness or constant tightness, it's probably because your neck muscles are weak and undertrained. Strengthening them improves your posture, relieves tension headaches, and gives you the kind of foundation your body actually needs. And if you're an athlete, a boxer, martial artist, or football player, you already know this. A thick artist or football player or martial artist or football player.
I lost the T on artist, so we got to find that. It's right there. And then since on this one, the one went right into the next, see? What we're going to do is just kind of recreate that by just getting that right up in there like that. Let's listen to it.
A boxer, martial artist, or football player,
It could be ever so slightly further apart, eh? Let's see. Let's see how that sounds.
A boxer, martial artist, or football player, you already know this. A thick neck acts like armor. It keeps your head stable. It absorbs impact. Meanwhile, the average gym goer is blasting his impact. Meanwhile, the average gym goer is blasting his chest and arms, but his neck looks like a bendy straw holding up a bowling ball. The good news, your neck grows fast because
there was a thing.
Holding up a bowling ball. The good news,
same thing. Let's listen.
Bowling ball.
It's not on the end of that. Must be on the beginning of this.
The good news, there
it was. And you can see it. It's there. It's obvious. So we'll just go to there. And again, there's enough of a space in there between the end and the beginning of this that I don't think we should need to add any space, so we should just be able to go.
A bowling ball. The good news, your neck grows fast because you don't train it in daily life because you don't train it in daily life. It grows fast because you don't train it in daily life. Because you don't train it in daily life, it responds almost immediately. Your neck grows fast because you don't train it in daily life. It responds almost immediately once you start hitting it properly. Because you don't train it in daily life, it responds almost immediately once you start hitting it properly. It responds almost immediately once you start hitting it properly. You can see visible changes in a few months, sometimes even sooner. And no, you don't need some weird medieval harness or neck bridge that puts your spine at risk. We're going to build this safely, smartly, and effectively, brick by brick. Hey, any of my friends out there watching, let me know if the stream health is good. Hey, any of my friends out there watching, let me know if the stream health is good. Neck anatomy explained. Audio and video synced up and stuff. Neckly and effectively, brick by brick. Neck anatomy explained. Before we start training, you need to understand how your neck actually works. Because this isn't just a muscle that keeps your head from falling off. It's a complex structure with different functions that all need to be trained if you want It's a complex structure with different functions that all need to be trained if you want real strength and balance. Your neck has 3 main movements that form the foundation of every exercise. First, forward flexion. That's the classic head nod. It uses the sternocleidomastoids, those thick rope-like muscles that run.
Did you hear that? I said that word. I don't know if I said it right technically, but I'm pretty sure I did.
Exercise. First, forward flexion. That's the classic head nod. It uses the sternocleidomastoids, those thick rope-like muscles that run from behind your ears down to your collarbone. Cleidomastoids, those thick rope-like muscles that run from behind your ears down to your collarbone. Rope-like muscles that run thick rope-like muscles. Mastoids, those thick rope-like muscles that run from behind your ears down to your collarbone. Once you build them, you instantly add size and thickness to the front of your neck. They frame your jawline, make your shoulders look broader, and they frame your jaw to the front of your neck. They frame your jawline, make your shoulders look broader, and add that finished look to your jawline. Make your shoulders look broader and add that finished look to your physique. Second, backward flexion. This is when you tilt your head back or look forward flexion. Second, backward flexion. This is when you tilt your head back or look up toward the ceiling. Here your neck extensor. Here, your back or look up toward the ceiling. Here flexion. This is when you tilt your head back or look up toward the ceiling. Here, your neck extensors and upper traps take over, supported by a group of small stabilizers that keep your upper traps take over, supported by a group of small stabilizers that keep your posture tight and your head steady under load. What do I do with my mouse? Buried it under yonder. Under load. There I was. Load. What do I do with my mouse? Buried it under head steady under load. These muscles protect you when you lift heavy or take impact. They're your built-in shock absorbers. And third, lateral flexion and rotation. These are the tilt and turn movements when you move your head side to side or rotate left and right. They train balance, symmetry, and real-world strength. Most people skip these completely, which is why their necks look,
I thought I heard a thing at the end of that. Let's find it out.
Real-world strength. Most people skip.
There's something. Yep, I see it. Yep, that little thing right there. Sometimes those happen, and they're really irritating, and they make that little sound right at the end. We're going to go ahead, since we kind of abruptly cut that off more than it was normal. We're going to round that off on the end so it's just kind of a soft out instead of a hard clip off.
Right. They train balance, symmetry, and real-world strength. Most people skip these completely, which is why their necks look strong and skip these completely, which is why
we're grabbing it on the ch of the which
is why their necks look strong in one direction.
Let's see if we can do this. This will be kind of rad. Is it right there? No, it's right there.
World strength. Most people skip these completely, which is why their necks look strong in one direction but weak in another. To build a thick, balanced neck, you need to train all three: forward flexion, backward flexion, and lateral flexion. Together, forward flexion, backward flexion. 3. Forward flexion, backward flexion, and lateral flexion.
Bam.
Together, they give you both size and stability. A neck that's not just big, but bulletproof. Here we go. Neck warm-up. Before big, but bulletproof. Neck warm-up. Before you jump into any of these exercises, listen. Neck warm-up. Before you jump into warm-up.
Oh no, I'm going to leave it. It's something I don't like.
Warm up. Before you jump into any of these exercises, listen carefully. You need to warm up your neck. This isn't optional. Your neck is full of small, delicate muscles that don't get much blood flow throughout the day. If you start cold and load weight right away, you're setting yourself up for stiffness, dizziness, or even a pulled muscle. Think of it like priming an engine. You don't floor it the second you turn it on. You let it run, build pressure, and get everything moving smoothly first. Spend 1 to 2 minutes doing gentle dynamic movements. Slow nods forward and back. Controlled rotations left and right. Light tilts from shoulder to shoulder. No jerking, no rushing, just smooth movement to get the muscles warm and responsive. You'll feel the difference instantly. Your neck will move easier,
you will.
Your range of motion will increase, and your training will feel controlled instead of tense. Skip the warm-up, and your neck will punish you.
Relax, man.
Skip the
You're too
warm-up,
tense.
and your neck increase, and your training will feel controlled instead of tense. Skip the warm-up, and your neck will punish you. Controlled instead of skip the warm-up will feel controlled instead of tense. Skip the warm-up and your neck will punish you for it later. Take the extra minute now. Your strength and recovery depend on it. Neck workout. Now that you're warmed up, let's build. We're starting with the most basic, but also the most powerful. Movement. Oh, I see. We're starting with the most basic, but also the most powerful. Now that you're warmed up, let's build. We're starting with the most basic, but also the most powerful. Movement. Oh, I see. We're starting with the most basic. Build. We're starting with the most basic, but also the most powerful movement for neck training. The neck curl. It looks simple, but don't movement for neck training. The neck curl. The neck movement for neck training. The neck curl. It looks simple, but don't underestimate it. Lie on a flat bench with your shoulders near the edge. And your head. Don't underestimate it. Lie on a flat bench with your shoulders near the edge and your head hanging free. From there, turn your chin toward your chest. Then slowly lower it back down under control. That's 1 rep. Smooth and deliberate. No jerking. Start with no weight. Master the motion first. Once you do clean sets without wobbling, then add resistance. A small plate or dumbbell head against your add resistance. A small plate or dumbbell, then add resistance.
They get you
A
sometimes.
small plate or dumbbell held against your forehead with a towel for padding. 3 sets of 10 to 20 reps. Once that feels easy, slowly increase the load, just like you would any other lift. Next, we hit the back of the neck. the part that gives you real structure and stability. For this, do the part that gives you we hit the back of the neck. The part that gives you real structure and stability. For this, do neck extensions. Lie face down, stability. For this, do stability. For this, do neck extensions. Lie face down on a bench with your head hanging off the edge. Place a plate or pad on the back of your head. Lower slowly, then raise until your head is level with your body, not beyond. No snapping back, no rushing the reps. If you want to go heavier safely, use a head harness. It keeps tensions rushing the reps. If you want to go back, no rushing the reps. If you want to go heavier safely, use a head harness. It keeps tension steady and protects your spine. Again, 3 sets of 10 to 20 reps. Finally, we'll finish with rotation and lateral flexion. The movements that build balance and fun and lateral flexion. And rotation and lateral flexion. The movements that build balance and function. Lie on your back and gently turn your head left to right for controlled rotations. Once that feels comfortable, move to side flexions. Lie on your side with your head hanging off the edge of a bench or a couch and lower your ear toward your shoulder. Then return to neutral. You can use the harness here too if you're ready, but once you're ready, but form comes first. Then return to neutral. You can use the harness here, then return to neutral. You can use the harness here too once you're ready, but form comes first. Always. Together, these 3 movements, curl, extension, and side flexion, hit your neck from every angle. That's how you build a neck that's not just...
So there was no at the end of that neck. Let's
side flexion, hit your neck from every...
Right there, and it should be, if we go hunting for the CK, it's right there. Woo! It's a long one, too. Really hang on to that. That's why I got rid of it, because it's got such a long tail on it. I thought it was probably more likely a breath than a k, but that's a pretty strong k.
Action, hit your neck from every angle. That's how you build a neck that's not just big, but battle-tested. How often to train the neck for best results? Here's the truth. Your neck can handle more volume than you think, but that doesn't mean you should train it like a maniac. Here's the truth. Here's the truth. Your neck can handle more volume than you think, but that doesn't mean you should train it like a maniac. It's a small, sensitive muscle group. Push too hard, too fast, push too hard, push too hard, too fast, and push too hard, too fast, and you'll feel it every time you try to turn your head for the next week. And you'll feel it every time.
The way I spoke this, it didn't make sense to cut it. It was chopping up the natural flow and carryover from words and my slurry speech. It sounded weird.
Push too hard, too fast, and you'll feel it every time you try to turn your head for the next week. For most people, 1 to 2 sessions per week is all you need to start seeing serious results. The neck responds quickly to consistent effort, not constant effort. You're not trying to destroy it, you're trying to consistent effort, not constant effort. You're not trying to destroy it, you're trying to effort, not constant effort. You're not trying constant effort.
Excuse me so much.
You're not trying. It
was just that little bit.
You're not trying.
See, it's gone now.
You're not trying.
Beautiful.
Consistent effort, not constant effort. You're not trying to destroy it, you're trying to condition it. After a few weeks, if recovery feels good and stiffness fades fast, you can bump it up to 3 or even 4 sessions per week. Just listen to your body. If you're waking up sore or tense fast, you can bump it up to 3 or even 4 sessions per week. Just listen to your body. If you're waking up sore or tense, dial it back. The key is progressive overload. Add reps, add weight, change tempo. The goal isn't to move the heaviest plate possible. It's to slow weight, change tempo. The goal isn't to move the heaviest plate possible. It's to slowly challenge your neck to do a little more each week. Treat your neck training like any other muscle group. Track your progress. Slowly challenge your neck to do a little more each week. Treat your neck training like any other muscle group. Track your progress. Stay patient. Stay consistent. Because if you do, the results will come fast. And when they do, you'll never skip neck day again. How to optimize neck growth. To really maximize neck growth, you need to treat it like any other muscle, but respect that it's closer to your spine than your biceps. That means no ego lifting, no jerking, no shortcuts. Precision is everything. The neck thrives on consistency, tension, and control.
Okay, everybody, I need more coffee. That is a real life thing. And I also need to visit for the facilities. So what I am going to do is I got to take a quick break. I'll put on some music for you. Don't go anywhere. This won't take long at all. As long as it takes my Keurig to make a cup of coffee, that's what I'm going to do. So I want to... Uh-oh. Why is that paused, I wonder? I've got the audio. Huh. Well, now that's interesting. That's not paused. That one's good. Let's see what's going on over here. Technical difficulties. Huh. Well, I'll get that fixed too. So I will be back in a little bit. Thanks, guys. See ya. Well, if you can hear me, it looks like I have to cut the stream. Looks like it's locked up. I'll reload it.